So I'm very pleased to welcome everybody on this Friday morning to our second TNA showcase. This is a spotlight series designed by Megan Black, Atrium project manager, and myself. I'm Amelia, and I organise some communications for the Atrium project. So we're super excited to have Nicky Garland, Mariia Lobanova, and Peter Gathoni with us this morning, who are all recipients and indeed facilitators of Atrium's fantastic TNA Transnational Access scheme, which has funded loads of researchers already in leading data management centres throughout Europe. So if you were with us last week, you might recognise Nicky, who is very happily here with us again. So Nicky is going to tell you a little bit about the TNA scheme, and also provides a really wonderful opportunity to ask him your direct questions about any elements of like the application process, or any burning questions that you might have about what it's like to do a TNA or the application process itself. And then we're also going to hear from Peter and Mariia, who are going to be telling us about two really fascinating projects that they've been working on, and that the TNA scheme helped them develop and support. So I'm going to quickly introduce Nicky and then hand over to him, who's going to give you an overview of the TNA scheme, but also tell you about the one that he participated in himself. So just a quick bio introduction. Probably needs very little introduction, but it's always good to have one nonetheless. So Nicky is the training communication manager for the Archaeology Data Service. Nicky is an archaeologist with experience of teaching and training in both developer-led archaeology and academia. He completed his doctoral research in 2017 at the UCL Institute of Archaeology on the archaeology of Iron Age and Roman Britain. So, Nicky, the floor is all yours, and thanks so much for joining us again.
Thanks, Amelia. I will just share my screen with you all now. Okay, hopefully you can see that okay. Excellent. So as Amelia mentioned, I spoke last week. I gave a slightly fuller presentation on the TNA scheme itself, and that will be available via the Atrium YouTube channel at some point, where we'll have a full recording. So today I'm just going to briefly introduce the Atrium scheme, the TNA scheme, and then talk about one of the summer schools that I participated in last year, to give you a kind of an idea of what some of these experiences are like. So yeah, the sorry, tripping over my words before I even start. Okay, so the Atrium project, for those who aren't aware, it stands for the Advancing Frontier Research in the Arts and Humanities. The project is designed to connect a number of top digital research infrastructures across multiple arts and humanities disciplines, including arts, archaeology, languages, open scholarly communications, and the social sciences. And the Transnational Access scheme formed part of Atrium. And through this scheme, we're planning, or we're aiming to provide support for 200 researchers to visit 16 different research infrastructures that form part of the Atrium project, and allow people access to both the kind of top facilities that they provide, but also the expert knowledge of their staff members. So we offer two different types of TNA scheme. The first one is called summer schools. These are training sessions which are designed to provide information or intensive training on specialist topics. This is what we're going to be talking about today. All of the speakers today are going to be talking about their experience in summer schools. And last week we had our speakers were talking about their experiences in individual access, which I'll talk about in a second. These training schools, as you can see from all these happy smiling faces on this picture, are a wonderful experience. They usually last 1 to 2 weeks, and they're kind of offered at certain times during the year. And the application for them is relatively straightforward. It's just a short form, and then you provide a supporting statement. And really, the host organizations in that supporting statement are looking for information about why that training scheme will be so beneficial to you and your work and your research or your studying. And you can find all the information about those on the Atrium website. The individual access scheme is more tailored support. It lets you work one-on-one with experts to get guidance on specific research questions or the research projects that you're working on. And this is available year-round, but you'll need to provide a full project proposal when you're applying. So this will include information on your aims and objectives, the description of the work, any dissemination plans you might have, a personal statement about yourself and your own research. And the length of this training scheme can be dependent on which host organization you want to apply for. So last week we heard from two successful individual access placements, and hopefully those recordings will be available for people to see what they were up to and how it benefited their research. In terms of eligibility, the eligibility is quite wide. The main key requirement is that you are applying to an organization that you don't currently reside in the same country. I mean, so if you work in or study in a university in France, you can't apply to another organization within France. You have to apply to another country. And that really creates the transnational aspect, and it's designed to kind of really allow people to kind of meet people from different organizations in different places and really create those kind of support networks. You need to complete an online form, which I said is relatively short for summer school, slightly longer for individual access. The scheme is open to all researchers and people outside of research performing organizations as well, from all levels. So you could be an undergraduate or you could be a manager. It doesn't matter. It's about how beneficial this scheme will be for you. And all we ask is that you provide us with a short report about what you did, and ask us and share any kind of outputs that you created as well, so that we can kind of measure the impact of the project. If you're interested in applying, and this will be my last slide on the introduction, and then I'll move into my experiences. All the information that you need is on the ATRIUM website, which is provided by this link here and also by this QR code. But as Amelia said, I'll be around for the Q&A session at the end. So if you have any direct questions about applying, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Or you can contact us directly as well. There's an email address on the website as well, and I'll be happy to answer any of the questions that you have. Right, so without further ado, I'll move on to the training school that I participated in last September, which was with the AISCR, the Archaeology Information System of the Czech Republic, which is based in the Czech Republic, in Brno. And I was applied and successful and went to visit them for a week in September. But I just wanted to start by kind of outlining who I am and what I do in part of the organization, because that will give you an idea of the benefits of the training school to us. So the Archaeology Data Service is an accredited digital archive for UK-based heritage, which is based here in the Department of Archaeology in the University of York in the UK. We've been around for almost 30 years now, and what we do is curate and preserve data from UK-based projects, whether that's from industry, i.e. from commercial archaeology resulting from the planning process, or from higher education research activities. And we now curate and care for more than 4 million unique digital objects in more than 300 different formats, over 4,500 collections. So we have a huge database of archaeological data. And if you'd like to find out more about what we do and search these collections yourself, then I'd recommend you come and visit our website. There, all of our data is open access resources for people to reuse for their own research or innovation needs. My role is the training and communications manager, so I oversee the development and delivery of training that we provide, usually in the scope of data management and digital preservation. We'll hear a little bit about this later on because we hosted Peter and a number of other people as part of one of our training schools last year as well. And I also manage our communications. So that's our different channels, the website, social media. And we try to undertake outreach to encourage archaeologists and other heritage protection practitioners rather to deposit their data with us so that we can care for it and to reuse the collections that we care for in whatever needs that they have. So I applied for and was excited to be selected for participation in this summer school, which was in computational archaeology, which is hosted by the AISCR, as I mentioned. And this was held in Brno last September. There's a link here to the summer school website, which I'd recommend if this is something you're interested in. All of the materials that were provided to us are hosted on this website now, as well as some information about what we did. And it's all as open access resources. So to start, just to kind of plug their resources because they did such a great job of hosting us. What we did, essentially the training school was designed to provide coding skills in the R programming language and to undertake a spatial data analysis using R. And then we kind of delved into the depths of the Ariadne portal, which is an aggregating catalog of searchable archaeological data. It provides a central point where lots of different archaeological data sets can be aggregated together across Europe and beyond. The ADS supports Ariadne, and we provide our data to this portal as well. And we were looking specifically at the portal, but also the AOCAT ontology. This is the data model that underpins everything within the Ariadne portal and allows people to search all of the data at the same time. And we were using R to query the Ariadne, well, the Sparkle endpoint is what they call it. This is the interface that you can programmatically access the data from the Ariadne portal. So it was quite a lot of coding, very much involved in archaeological data, and it was a fascinating experience. And I'll talk a little bit about what we did in a second. But I just wanted to introduce our hosts, the Archaeological Information System of the Czech Republic. They are housed within the Institute of Archaeology of the Czech Academy of Sciences. And they are a digital repository as well that collects and preserves data and provides access to data from archaeological data from research findings across the Czech Republic. So they very much mirror what we do at the ADS, but for Czechias, which is great. So it was very much a fascinating experience for me to go to the AISCR and meet them and see their resources as well. And as you can see from this poster here as well, they offer a lot of different interfaces and tools and software that you can use to kind of access that data. So I'd recommend looking at their website, which is shown at the bottom left-hand corner here. They have, for example, kind of an integrated map of all of the archaeological sites in the Czech Republic, and they also collate all of the new archaeological fieldwork within their repository as well. So it was great to meet them and to visit. Mariia, I'm sure we'll talk a bit about this as well later on, but we had a great group of people who were from all sorts of different countries across Europe, as you could see here, and a lot of different kind of participants from different fields as well, whether or not they were studying or working in universities and museums and archives, such as myself and other kind of research performing organizations. And as you can see, we had great weather eventually. As we traveled to Brno, it was probably some of the worst storms that they had ever experienced in that region. But by the end of the week, it was beautiful, sunshiny weather, and we were able to enjoy our coffee and break out on the excellent deck that the AISCR hosts as well. I have fond memories of that, and I'm trying to convince ADS to implement something in York as well. So I'm not going to go into too much of the detail about what we did on a day-to-day basis, but just to give you kind of an outline of what our experience was, because summer schools are very similar in their kind of outreach. It's quite an intensive process, but very rewarding, and you receive a lot of information in a quite short period of time. So like our first day was kind of introduction from kind of our course coordinator, which is Peter Gathoni, and we had a tour as well from Olga Likchobaichova, apologies for the pronunciation, who's the head of the archive. So we got to see around the building and the library and all of those kind of experiences and asked them a lot of questions about what they do. And then we got really just straight into learning R and the coding language. I had a little bit of a background in R, but this was, let's go back to the basics and learn everything from scratch. So you really didn't need to have much advanced knowledge in some of these subjects because they took you through it step by step all the way through. After 8 hours of coding, we thankfully had a bit of a welcome party as well, which was great. And then day 2 kind of moved on to the Ariadne portal and looking at linked open data and the AO cat ontology, which was great. Day 3 and 4 was looking more at spatial analysis using R, and we looked at point pattern analysis as well. And we received a keynote lecture from Michael Kemp and Margot de Parmentier on their use of R and how it works as part of their spatial analysis in their work. And then day 5 was really more open to exploring your own projects and what you wanted to do with R, and you could ask the course coordinators and their helpers to kind of help you with your own projects. I went off with another group and looked more at the Ariadne portal because that's part of, and I'm going to move on to that now in a second, why it was useful for us at the ADS. And then I had a great experience. We visited Prague on the way back as well and enjoyed the beautiful sunshine and the sights of Prague too. So that was definitely a useful part of the experience. Why was it useful for me? It was useful for multiple different reasons for some of the things that we're trying to implement in the ADS right now. So the Ariadne portal is something that we've been involved in for many years, but we're now implementing a new portal for UK-based data, which is called ArcSearch, and it uses the same infrastructure as Ariadne. So getting a familiarity with the portal and the AO cat ontology from myself, who's not an expert or a specialist in those areas, was super useful because we're going to have to start designing training materials and guidance to ensure that our wide range of our users can use that portal and access our data in the best way possible. The Ariadne portal also has a Sparkle endpoint. It's not something that I'd come across before, but we do host a Sparkle endpoint at ADS for our data as well. It's not very well utilized at the moment, in part because we don't provide any guidance on how to use it. So this has allowed me to kind of understand that process and think about some of the guidance that we could implement as part of our portal, particularly when we implement ArcSearch as well. Part of my role looks at understanding the reuse of our data, and I want to start using R to kind of programmatically understand how people are reusing our data sets and trying to encourage them to reuse them more in lots of different ways. And I'm trying to use R as well to implement kind of more automated processes for some of our communications, thinking about statistics from our website and social media channels. We have to report on these on a regular basis, and having a more kind of automated workflow would certainly help in that element. And I think I'd be remiss to not say that going and attending and visiting and visiting the AOCR, but also all of the other participants as part of the school hasn't allowed me to kind of develop more professional networks within these different arts and humanities and meet all of these excellent people who I've continued to talk to after the summer school as well. Finally, I just wanted to say a little bit about the experience generally, which was fantastic. Brno is a fantastic city. It's not a city I probably would have visited without this opportunity, but it was definitely a great experience. We had some time to visit some of the sites as well, including Spilberg Castle and Villa Tugendhat, which is a modernist house. So there's some which is a UNESCO site, which was fantastic. And the other participants and our hosts could not have been more welcoming. They took us out for dinner. They showed us the best places. They showed us the best watering holes as well. There was a place in the shadow of Spilberg Castle, which was fantastic, and we got to experience Prague on the way back as well. So it was just a overall amazing experience beyond the training school as well. So I think that's worth mentioning too. If you'd like to find out more about my experience, I wrote a blog as part of the Transnational Access blog scheme, which hosts a whole different range of people's different experiences as part of these individual access and summer schools. So you can read more on the ATRIUM website. And if I've enticed you in terms of Brno and the AISCR, well, there's another opportunity coming up to visit Brno this year, which is a different summer school they're providing in 3D data, which is training in creating, processing, and managing 3D models. So if that's something that you're interested in, the call for applications for that is now open until the end of May, and it will take place in Brno in September later this year as well. I'd highly recommend it. And if you're interested in the Transnational Access Scheme or the ATRIUM project, please just do follow the website. I'd recommend signing up to the newsletter as well and following our social media channels. And thanks very much.
Nicky, thank you so much. Despite it not being my area of research expertise at all, I found myself wanting to complete an atrium summer school after that fantastic and comprehensive presentation. So thank you so much. And just a general reminder to our attendees that yeah, we'll be having a Q&A at the end. So if you have, you can ask your questions on camera, or you can post questions in the chat, and we'll have time that you can speak to all three of our speakers at the end of our presentations. But we'll move on next to Mariia, who is Lobanova. Dr. Mariia Lobanova is acting head of the Conservation and Science Department of the Odesa Archaeological Museum at the National Academy of Science of Ukraine, and a faculty member of the Odesa National University, and is currently doing some work on Chalcolithic archaeology with a specializing in pottery. So Mariia, the floor is all yours, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Do you see my presentation, my screen? Yeah. Okay, so as was introduced, I'm working in Odesa Archaeological Museum. This is like my full-time job task. I just wanted to show some my background. It's a little bit different, and the majority of my talk, I will confirm everything Nicky said before, because I also participated in this training school in Brno. I'm from other part of Europe. I'm working in the oldest archaeological institution in Ukraine. This year we celebrate our anniversary. It's 200 years since the opening, and it's pretty old for Ukraine. And it's located in the city center of Odessa. It belongs to UNESCO heritage list. Unfortunately, because of the during situation in Ukraine, it's hard to complete some of our tasks, because we belong to Academy of Science and we need to do some excavations, rescue excavations. And like before war, I did chalcolithic archaeology, as it was chalcolithic, as we discussed. It's better to say. So our institution doesn't work right now like museum, and we just cut some our projects, and like our display usually looks like this, but we have right now one temporary exhibition so visitors can see. Like my topic, as it was said, I doing Neolithic, Chalcolithic archaeology. It's very well known for Eastern Europe culture called Kukteni Tripilya. So I'm researching this archaeological sites, the pottery difference on this pottery, population dynamics, and my period, it has very interesting transformation, like because of the climate change which we had in 5 millennium BC in this area. And after that, we have mega sites, like very unique thing for our territory. So this is like first part of my job, and why training school helped me. Like I can use a lot of skills right now for processing this data, because was more complicated for me. But because of the current situation, we started to digitize a lot to preserve our heritage and collections, which we need to protect. So usually we look like this, very sad people around close to the laptops. So before that, we did digitizing, but it was very slow and very small steps. But right now we need to do it more faster, and we are trying to attend possible training schools and to learn more, to have some new equipment. So we have a lot of data, and right now, and we didn't know how to process it. So I didn't have this experience, as Nicky said in his speech. So it's very interesting to me to understand how to work with it. So we did with our students. because I also working in university, so I work with the students, and one of my students did for fun this map about excavated burial mounds of Yamna culture. Yamna culture is very huge phenomena of early Bronze Age in our area, a lot of discussions, a lot of paleogenetics information. And I realized that because right now our university works like with mixed format, we have students which are attending our schools or classes digital because they're not in our country right now, or we have some of the students, they actually can't leave sometimes Ukraine and they're working in our country. So we're trying to connect somehow this educational system and to use some tasks which they can do remotely. So we decided to collect some data about archaeological sites in Odesa region. It's the biggest region in Ukraine, so we have a lot. And surprisingly, I found out that we didn't have enough data for this. So like we have a GPS coordinates for the archaeological sites maybe for last 10-15 years of excavation, so we need we need to do a lot of things. So I attended with actually one of my students also passed the selection to this amazing training school in Brno, and we spent one day to come to get Brno, but it was finally it was amazing. So it was, Nicky said, it was in September 2024. It was amazing for me that participants were from different countries, and it was exciting to communicate with them with different diverse background and experience. And for me, it created pleasant and interesting working atmosphere, and took place in Institute of Archaeology in Brno. So for me, working with art, I didn't have this experience before. It was a pretty new thing for me, and I didn't use this in my research before. And at the beginning, it was complicated for me, but organizing team was very kind, and they were always available for any questions. We had all of information online, so I can go back and check something if it wasn't easy for me. We majority of the days, as it was said before, we worked in art. So we learned like some basics, which is very useful for me. Some special analysis and point pattern analysis. So we learned a lot, and it's very useful for this information we're collecting with our students. And on the last days of the training, we also can use some our skills for our information. And I choose to work in art. So we did some maps, some informations. It was also amazing for me to listen some keynote speaker, a keynote lecture, because I'm working with Neolithic Society, and it was very constructive for me for listen this, how to combine this approach and multi-proxy analysis in our research. And it's also was dedicated to Neolithic and Chalcolithic, so but from other part of Carpathian. So maybe in the future we'll also use this and create some interesting research. So yes, this is me and my student on the picture who also attended this summer school. Maybe for me, the most complicated day was dedicated to Ariadne infrastructure. It's amazing thing, but it was beautiful lecture how to beautiful training there, how to create the system, like also since all the basics how to do. I'm not into programming, so it was complicated, but at the same time I know right now how to do it, how to collect information, what we need to do. So we we can use like our collection data project like in very right and good way. And it's, as it was said, in Czech Republic they have amazing archaeological information system. And we had some tour in the library, in archive, but honestly speaking, I also asked for extra tour because we are digitizing a lot in our museum. So I had a lot of questions. And for me also interesting because we had maybe similar problems sometimes in Eastern Europe with our information. So I had a lot of questions, and the people in Institute of Archaeology, they're very kind, and they give me a lot of literature because in Czech Republic they have a lot of beautiful theoretical works with processing this data and how to collect this information. So I'm learning this right now and sharing with my students because it's very useful and we can improve some of our skills. So, and back to Odesa, we just continue to work with this. We introduced with Valeria, the student, we introduced our experience among our students. We have students community in university, so we did like special talk about it. We started to work in this program in some our classes, but majority of time, yeah, we are still collecting data. We have more than 400 sites right now. It's not so much, but we continue to work, and this June we will have students practice in our museum, so we will maybe improve something. We will work with archives, and maybe I just don't remember what else I wanted to say it. I'm actually very thankful for this experience and for the opportunity opportunity to participate, that I was selected and my student was selected, so we can work together here in Odesa. I gained so much helpful knowledge, and as it was said about future training about 3D, I also shared with my colleagues and my students, and one my colleague already applied, so I'm very happy, and if she will be selected, it's going to be amazing too for me. And also Brno is amazing city for archaeology. They have in southern Moravia amazing archaeological sites, very iconic archaeological sites, upper Paleolithic and everything you can imagine. So we also spent a very nice archaeological time there. So yeah, I think this is all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mariia. That was such an insightful and also incredibly positive presentation. Like I can really see the connections between the knowledge that you learned and that you gained through this experience, and bringing it back to Odesa, as you said, in such a nice way, has facilitated the creation of even more of a wider like ATRIUM TNA community. So thank you so much for that. We want to give time for Peter to give his presentation, so I'm going to introduce Peter and move along. So Peter Gathoni is an archaeology graduate from Kenyatta University with a deep appreciation for history and cultural heritage, passionate about uncovering, preserving, and sharing the stories of our past. Currently, he serves as an archives assistant at the British Institute in Eastern Africa. He specialises in cataloguing, organising, preserving, and managing digital and physical collections to ensure they remain accessible for future generations. He aims to deepen understanding of the region's archaeological legacy while fostering connections between research and community engagement. So, Peter, we're delighted to hear from you.
Thank you so much. So, hello everyone. So, my name is Peter, as I've been introduced. So, I'm going to present on the insights on digital preservation from the Archaeology Data Service Summer School. This was I was one of the participants who was selected for the ATRIUM TNA program. I was placed at the ADS at the University of York in UK. So Nicky was actually one of the teachers there. So the overview of the ADS school. So the Archaeology Data Service Summer School was a program that is focused on digital preservation and the data management for archaeological data. So the purpose of this training was to equip us with the skills and knowledge to manage, preserve the data effectively. So the key themes for this summer school were the benefits of open research, the FAIR and CARE principles. So the FAIR and CARE principle is the FAIR is findable, accessible, interoperable, and usable. Then the CARE principles, we have digital preservation and digital preservation models, dissemination and reuse, digital collection management, and building clean and archivable data. So for us, the BIA, we are trying to develop an archive right now. So this training was key, very, very beneficial to us. So my key takeaways from the summer school, one is digital preservation basics. So we looked at the importance of long-term accessibility and usability. We have the benefits of open research. We have the challenges that we face during the preservation and how we will overcome them. Secondly, we have the best practices in data management. So here we learned about creating comprehensive data management plans, standardizing formats and metadata for better interoperability. Then we were introduced to preservation tools, which will be essential to us. So this was a XN View MP. This is used to convert bulk image files to lossless open formats. You have the bulk rename utility. So this one is used to rename bulk folders and files. Then we have the virtual basic application. This is used to convert this to CSV files. So for the summer school, most of what we did, because at the BIA, because we are a research institute, so mostly we are now trying to develop a new archive. And because we deal with archaeological data, we have so many of archaeological finds. So right now where I'm sitting in the archive that we are trying to develop. So the application of the knowledge that I learned from the ADS summer school will be essential as we work on digitizing and archiving these valuable records. So the key skills are, I have data standardization and metadata. So the ADS training school emphasized on standardized formats and metadata schemas. These are crucial in the data entry and retrieval. So this data standardization and the metadata will help us at the BIA to organize the digital records in ways that it will ensure that we have long-term accessibility, discoverability by researchers and people in academia. So here, since the BIA is an institution for research, so we are aiming at having these digital records to be maintained and ensure that we have long-term accessibility and discoverability by researchers. Like for instance, I can say that we have given some of the slides that we are scanning to the ADS so that they can be accessible by other researchers from all over the world. So when we are developing this, we also aim to make sure that once these materials are accessible online, they can also be accessible at our offices here in Nairobi. So two, we have the preservation techniques. So the ADS training topics on digital preservation and methods will act as a guide in maintaining the integrity of data over time. So this knowledge will help prevent data loss and ensure that digital assets are stable and accessible for future research. So for this information that we have, we are aiming to preserve them over generations to ensure that we do not have data loss and these digital assets are stable and will be accessible in future research, both online and at our offices. So three, we have the data sharing and accessibility. So here we are, the training enabled me to understand how to make data accessible and findable. So this accessibility and findability aligns with the BIA goals of research dissemination. So here I was taught on the knowledge to help prevent data loss and ensure that digital assets are stable. Digital assets are stable and accessible for future. So ADS training taught me how to structure and document this data for ease of access, enhancing collaboration and knowledge sharing with us other researchers. So when we have all this data that will be accessible, it will help people to have ease of access of this document. So this will enhance the collaboration with other partners like the ADS, the ATRIUM, and this will help us disseminate information of what we have. Then we have the legal and ethical aspects. So the ADS Summer School addressed the ethical issues and legal standards. This will be vital for handling sensitive information responsibly, and also having the regulations. Since most of what we have here was done by researchers, and some of them are alive, some of them may be dead. So with the training that I have, we will be able to employ these ethical and legal aspects. So this will enable us to be keen when handling sensitive information, such as the people's information that we have from the researchers that they did. Then we have the practical tools and software. So the ADS training school, I also gained exposure to tools used for data digitization, management, and archiving. So knowing which tools are optimal for different types of archaeological data will streamline my workflow and improve data quality. So from the summer school that I attended, so we were introduced to new apps. So these apps will be crucial as we continue with this digitization project. So these apps are like the XNM View app. This is used to convert bulk image files to a lossless open format. So this we have so many bulk image files of the archaeological stuff and archaeological materials that the researchers did during their excavations. We have information. We have slides from all over Africa, from Somalia. That's Somalia before the collapse and Somalia after the collapse. So with this XNM View app, we will be able to convert these bulk image files to a lossless open format, which will be accessible to everyone. Secondly, we have the bulk rename utility. So this one will use it to rename the bulk folders and files, because we have so many files in here. So this bulk rename utility will help us rename them accordingly and with ease. Then we have the virtual basic application. So this is used to convert bulk Excel sheets to CSV files. So these Excel sheets that I'll show to the next slide, we have so many Excel sheets that we are using. So we will use this application that I learned to convert this to CSV files. So this is a screenshot of the Excel table. So this is what we are using to clean and inputting more metadata. So to ensure that we have clean and archivable data. So for the slides that we have, the slides have so many information on them. So we are outlining them in this Excel sheet. So with this Excel sheet, each day we are cleaning it and adding more metadata to the image files to ensure that we have a very clean and archivable data. So we have data standardization and metadata. So here we are going through the files with the graduate attaches at the BIA. So as you can see, all those archive boxes have so many information. So we are going through them with the help of the attaches at the BIA to ensure that we have them standardized and the metadata are linked to the image files properly. So here I'm holding one of the slides, the slide images, which has been scanned and digitized. So with this, we have more than 50,000 of these slides. So with this, we will use the XN View MP app. This will help us to convert these bulk images, which have been scanned and digitized, to a lossless open format. So we have the metadata linkage. So here we are going through metadata files. You can see them on the table. We are going through them to link them with the image files that we have. So because each image has its own metadata, and with this metadata, we are able, when you have one slide, you are able to link it to the information on the metadata to make it complete, because you can't have an image without its own metadata. So the reflections and next steps that I wish to take. So the reflections that I took from the summer school and I'm continuing implementing is the importance of collaboration in digital preservation. There's also the need for ongoing learning and adaptation to new technologies. So for here, we have the need for ongoing planning and adaptation. So we have to adapt to new technologies as they emerge. So at the BIA, we are open to adapting to these new technologies. We're also seeing the importance of the collaboration in digital preservation. So the training with the ADS really helped us, will really help us. And also to people who are interested in going for this training, it will be very important, because the digital preservation and the digital way is the way, because we are getting new technologies each day. So the next steps that I will do is I'll continue sharing this knowledge that I acquired with all my colleagues. So for the people that we are working in the archives, I continue disseminating this knowledge to them. Also, we have the continuous application of these tools to archive and manage current projects, because the BIA is a research institute and there are so many ongoing projects. Currently, we have the big one that is MISAM. It's called Mapping Endangered African Sites and Monuments. So it's one of a big project where they aim to digitize the endangered archaeological sites. So we are really working together on having this application, because they are applying these new tools and technologies. So I will also explore further training opportunities with ATRIUM. Yes, so I'm done. So this is my vote of thanks. So my vote of thanks is to the whole of the ADS team, led by their director, the Professor Julian Richards. We have Holy Light, Nicky, whom most of the time he's a point of contact at the ADS Summer School, just to name a few. We also have, I'm also grateful to the ATRIUM for the generous grant, which are catered for everything. Special gratitude to my director, Kennedy Gitu, and Dr. David Maina, who is in here, and who is a BIA archivist, and the entire institute for their support. Also, the summer school participants, whom we were with them in New York, they made my time memorable. So I'm really encouraging each and everyone who is interested in this to apply. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter, for a wonderful presentation and also for such a note of positivity. I'm noticing a theme across all the presentations, which is just one of really seeing the potential and the like ability to bring back what you've all learned in the different summer schools to your communities, your research communities, and your networks, and that is a really wonderful thing to see. So thank you so much to all three speakers for such excellent and different presentations. I was really struck by how different the work is that all of you are conducting, even though it's within the remit of at some points the same summer school. So this is really really exciting work. We have a little bit of time left together, so we would love to open the floor to any questions that anybody might have for any of our speakers. As we've said, Nicky is kind of our oracle for all practical TNA questions, as well as a direct experience of attending a summer school. So if you have technical questions, you can grab him while he's here. But also, if you have any more follow-up questions for Peter or Mariia about the kind of work that they're doing, or more general reflections on the participation in the TNA scheme, we now have some time together. So you can either raise your hand or unmute yourselves, or post any questions you might have in the chat function, and I can read them out. So yeah, the floor is open to our audiences now, if anybody has any specific questions. A lot of nice compliments coming in for everybody in the chat. So yeah, just to echo how great those presentations were. It was wonderful to see. Yeah, does any of our panel have any questions for each other, even perhaps?
Well, if I may just plug our own training school. Thank you, Peter, for that awesome presentation. It was great to host you and everybody else last year. We're hosting another training school this year as part of the ATRIUM project, which will cover these same topics of data management and digital preservation. So if you'd like to, if you listened to Peter's presentation, you thought those are the skills that I need as well, then there's an opportunity to come to the ADS this year as well. unfortunately in November again, and I can't promise it's going to be the nice sunny weather of Brno, but it was great to host everybody last year in person. It's been a few years since we've been able to host people in person because of COVID and etc. So if you are interested in, do please apply and do feel free to ask me any questions you might have.
I have a question for the panelists. It was recently revealed to us that in fact there's not necessarily a limit on people being able to apply for TNA schemes. So I was just wondering, maybe Peter and Mariia and Nicky too, if you were going to apply to a TNA scheme again, would you? And would you do anything differently? Or maybe you could answer that question about where your research has progressed to and what you would want to get out of another TNA scheme if you were to attend another one.
Okay. Sorry, let me go first. So I think on my side, I'm really excited. So also I'll be applying for more and more summer schools. So I'm happy to report that I was also accepted. I'm heading to Czech in August. So I'm heading for another summer school that it's hosted by St. Charles University. It's what Nicky did in Bono. So I'm going to do the R. So I've been accepted to that summer school and I'm really excited. And also, as an add-on, I can really encourage everyone to apply for this. And also, currently, because I'm based in Nairobi, if you need any, if you are doing any research in the African continent and you need somewhere you can work, so the BIA, the British Institute in Eastern Africa, it's one of the best places you can come and work there, and you can get affiliated to. Thank you. And also, we have grants. If you head to the BIA website, there are grants, and we have the graduate attachment scheme. It's open for young people who are done with their undergraduate and the masters. They can apply to come to Nairobi for 3 months for their attachment. Thank you.
Okay, I also can answer after Peter's presentation. I also want to join this summer school because we also have a lot of archaeological data, reports, everything. So I was impressed how much you can do and how much you can learn. So I will recommend just to, when you prepare your application, just say honestly what do you want, what is your fears, what you can't get when you have your research, why do you need this school. So I think the organizing team also will think about it and how to make better this experience. So but as I said in my presentation, I highly recommend everyone to apply to this programs.
Thanks so much, Mariia. Yeah, it's a very rousing endorsement of the TNA scheme overall. We've got a hand up from Canela. I hope you're pronouncing your name correctly there, but if you want to ask your question, feel free.
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you for the presentations. They were really interesting and diverse, as you mentioned. I work for the Athena Research Center, and I supervised the work done by Vasiliki presented in the previous showcase. Unfortunately, I could not attend it. My question is really general. Do you have any specific ways or ideas to attract people to apply for the TNA? We have thought of, mailing lists or accessing certain professors Greek professors working in universities abroad, but still we don't, we think we have not achieved the best way to inform people about this very interesting project.
Shall I respond to that? Thanks, Canela. I think we have been trying to, kind of facilitate things like this, like the showcase. Megan and Amelia have done fantastic work as part of the communications package at the ATRIUM project to try and kind of get these things out. I think from our experience, we've definitely, from the ADS experience, we've definitely kind of plugged into our own local kind of contacts a little bit and tried to get the scheme out that way. Obviously, it's a little tricky because we can't attract applicants from our own country. It needs to be transnational. I've relied a little bit on Megan and Amelia's hard work to kind of get it out through the ATRIUM channels as well. I really kind of threw everything I could at it to try and attract as many people as possible. So social media, newsletters, things like that, and tried to plug in to as many places as possible. There are some interesting kind of digital humanities training platforms where you can advertise some of these schemes as well. I think we got some applicants via that access as well. So I can always share those information with you. I need to find it again, but I'm more than happy to help.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, if anyone has any other questions, I know our we're approaching the hour, and people might have other commitments that they need to get onto. But if anyone has any questions, now is your chance. We have about another minute or so together. I think in that case, I'll close the session, but just a huge thank you to Nicky, Mariia, and Peter for such fantastic and positive, truly presentations. And my thanks to Megan, who's our ATRIUM project manager, who always does a consistently excellent job. And thank you everyone for attending on a Friday. And yeah, we will look forward to seeing you at the next TNA showcase, which we will hopefully be able to facilitate within like maybe the coming months or at some point throughout this year, because it's been really wonderful to give our amazing researchers like such a good platform to sort of share what they've been up to under this ATRIUM scheme. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you very much.